We, Albania, are giving Johanna Neumann the Gratitude Award for her work in getting us recognized for saving Jewish people during the Holocaust. I am sitting in the auditorium of the United States Holocaust Museum. The Prime Minister of Albania has come to award my grandmother. She walks up to the stage and begins to tell her speech. I am going to tell you about how things changed as a young Jewish girl growing up in Germany, in Hamburg, Germany, in the 1930s. Juden sind ihr unerwünscht, Jews not allowed. At all of my favorite places, growing up in Germany, there are now signs that say Jews not allowed. At the beach, Jews not allowed. At the playground, Jews not allowed. At the movie theater, Jews not allowed. They are even making me add Sarah as my middle name so everyone will know I'm Jewish. I can't go anywhere anymore. The owner of the hotel, he just kicked us out. He kicked us out for being Jewish. My parents and my aunt and uncle and I, we were going on vacation and I was so excited. We're at a resort town hotel. And last night, as we were walking through the lobby, the people were all making anti-Semitic remarks to us. It's September 1936. I'm only 6 years old. But today, this morning, the owner kicked us out. I don't understand why, but I follow my aunt, my uncle, and my parents out of the hotel. I'm walking to school the same way that I walk every day. I'm passing the Bornplatz Synagogue, a local synagogue. But today, I'm stopped in my steps because there are hordes of people outside of it. They're throwing rocks at the beautiful stained glass windows. They're destroying it. They're burning it down. They're even throwing the holy books into the streets. I'm only 8 years old. It's November 10th, 1938, Kristallnacht. I quickly continue my run to school. The teacher goes, "Your parents will be coming to pick you up." My parents, they come to pick me up. They now know that there's no future for Jews in Germany anymore. My father, Hitler liked him. Hitler gave him the Iron Cross Award for serving on the front lines for Germany in World War I. And he thought that would save him. But he now knows that that doesn't matter anymore. It's the middle of the night. They're waking me up. Who's knocking at the door? It's the Nazis. They're looking to arrest my father with the 30,000 other Jewish men they arrested that day. But we stay silent, hide in the bedroom, turn the lights off, not to make a noise. Okay, they leave. They think that we aren't home. We can't leave my dad behind. My mother and I, we got invited to go get visas to the United States. We're born in Germany, so we're on the German quota. But my dad, he's on the Polish quota, which is very limited, so he can't get to the United States. And with the threat of the Nazis, we can't leave him behind. We must find another plan. I can only pack a small bag with the essentials. I have to say goodbye to my toys, goodbye to my books, goodbye to my clothes, goodbye to my home, and goodbye to my friends and family who are staying in Germany. But for me and my parents, we're going to Albania. I don't know when I'll see my mama, my grandmother again. But my mom, she went to a party and the Albanian ambassador was there and we got visas to Albania. King Zog of Albania said that any Jew who wants to find refuge there can, and they would protect them because of Bessa, the promise to protect their guests better than themselves. So we pack our bags, we get ready to go to Albania. I don't know, like, what it's gonna be like there. It's all foreign to me. I hope that I can make friends. I hope that I can go to school. All of the Jewish refugees in Albania eat together in the communal dining hall. It's Passover. We've only been in Albania for 1 month. We're sitting around the table, feasting on matzah, the Jewish bread of freedom, to represent freedom from being slaves in Egypt. We're free to celebrate Passover because we're in Albania and not in Germany. But tonight, as we're sitting in this communal dining hall, they tell us that we won't be coming back for meals tomorrow. We should take our food home. It's April 1939, and Italy is gonna attack Albania overnight. It's really early in the morning. The shelling hit our building. We're hiding in the staircase away from the windows. Italy did attack Albania overnight, and now we're hiding from the fighting. It's my first time having baklava and rice pilaf. All our new Muslim neighbors, they're so inclusive to us. It's Ramadan, the holy month for Muslims. They invite us over, they invite us to mosque, they give us food and goodies. They're so nice to us. Was I disobedient? What did I do to deserve this? Will my parents come home? When will they come home? I'm lying wide awake in my bed, next to the big empty bed where my parents usually sleep. I'm so scared without them. My parents, they were arrested earlier today. And while they're there, I'm at the Pilku house. The Pilkus, they're our new friends. Mr. Pilku is a Muslim Albanian, but Mrs. Pilku, she's actually German. She's a Hitler supporter. She has a framed picture of Hitler in her living room. But Mr. and Mrs. Pilku, they decide to protect us because of Bessa, the promise. So while I wait for my parents at the Pilku house, my parents are in solitary confinement with rats and unedible food. They were arrested because the permit that they were walking with was not valid for the area they were in. But that can't be true. Mr. Pilku said he handled that permit issue already. But the officer, he was just anti-Semitic. He didn't like the Jewish presence there. So while I lie wide awake in the middle of the night, I wait for them to come home. Mr. Pilku is working with the office to get them out. My parents, they're back. I've been waiting 4 days for this. Mr. Pilku, he got them out. He worked with the local officer, an officer that liked my parents, and they came home. I'm so scared to be without them, but for now, I'm happy they're home. The Nazis, they invaded Albania, and now that they're here, they like to spend a lot of time at the Pilku house because they know that Mrs. Pilku is a friend to them. It's September 1943. The Pilkus, they introduced me and my mother to the Nazis as their cousins from Germany who are helping with the housework. But Mr. Pilku, he doesn't think it's so safe for my father to be here anymore. So he sends him to a nearby farming village to hide from the Nazis. Today at the Pilku house, there's a bunch of Nazis over, and one of them looks up from his tea. We were at a tea party, and he says, if I were to see a Jew or a communist, I would kill them on the spot. My mom, I don't know how she does it, but she stays calm. She sips her tea as to not show her nervousness that she's one of those Jews. Are you Mr. and Mrs. Pilku's cousins from Germany? My mom is cleaning the outside of our house, and some Nazis came over. They heard about a nice German family who was in this house. My mom, she invites them in for coffee, but my father, he immediately goes into hiding. He can't make a sound. He's actually sitting on top of a suitcase of Jewish religious items. The Nazis, they can't find him or that suitcase, or they will for sure know we're Jewish. So while the Nazis come over for coffee, they actually end up using our house as their headquarters for the day. They search the nearby houses for partisans, and at the end of the day, they look at me with my long pigtail braids, and they say that I look like a model German girl. So as a special treat, they take me on a walk to the beach. One of the Nazis, he pulls a grenade out of his suit and he throws it into the water. It explodes. It killed a ton of fish so quickly. Is he trying to impress me? All I can think about is if he would do that to me if he knew that I was a Jew. Today at the Pilku house, the Nazis asked my father, "Why are you not in Germany fighting for the fatherland?" That was a close call. We know that it's good that we hid my father for most of the Nazi occupation, and that we probably should stay away from the Pilku house for a while. It's not so safe for us anymore. We don't know what to do. The Gestapo, the German police, they're requiring all foreigners to come register with them. But we have a big J in our German passport to say that we're Jewish. Should we go and be exposed as Jews? They're for sure know there's Jews here when we go, or should we keep hiding? Okay, we went. We registered with the Gestapo as Jews, and we now know it's only a matter of time before we're deported. We're driving through the mountains. The Pilkus, they save us again. So as it turns out, Mr. Pilku's cousin, he's a liaison between Albania and Germany. So when he finds out that the Germans are coming to deport us, he sends a farmer to come pick us up at our house and drive us to the mountains for the night so that when the Germans come, we won't be home. We have to move to our friend's apartment. The Albanian communists are fighting against Germany to get their country back. And our apartment, it's really close to the battlefield. So we moved to our friend's apartment. And my parents, they just went back to our apartment to get a few things. But I'm waiting for hours and hours, and they're not coming home. As it turns out, when they were walking back, they were walking through an empty field with bullets going over their head. And my father yells to my mother, get down," in German. And the communist fighters, they arrest my parents, thinking that they're German spies. My parents are being interrogated, and they're so scared because when they're there, they see another person who was suspected of being a German spy get executed. So my father, he demands to speak to the commander. The commander was the officer that liked them, that released them the last time they were arrested. So the commander gives my parents hugs, sends them home, and with strict orders to not leave the house again. He can't guarantee their safety next time. We really want to go back to the United States to reunite with our family. The communists, they did it. They took their country back from the Germans. It's November 1944. The communists, they closed their borders. No one can get out. But what else was really bad in Albania was typhoid fever. And the Allies, they had the typhoid fever vaccine. So the Allies negotiate with Albania and they say, We will only give you the typhoid fever vaccine if you let out the Jewish refugees. Albania said, okay, fine, we'll let out the Jewish refugees, but not to go to the United States, only to go to their homeland, mandatory Palestine. But we did it. We said we were going to mandatory Palestine just so we could get out of Albania. We were really on our way to the United States. So we get ready to leave. The Albanians, they write us a letter wishing us luck. And we get out of Albania. Tricasso, Porto, Italy, it's so beautiful. It's a fishing town on water. It's where all the wealthy Italians go on their summer vacation. It's September 1945. And we are using this nice town. The Jewish refugees are using it as their displaced persons camp, as their stop onto their final destinations, their new homes. When I get there, I make all these new friends. And from all these friends, I learn about gas chambers and concentration camps. I didn't know about any of that when I was in Albania. It wasn't on the radio. I'm meeting so many different survivors with so many different stories. And every day at the DP camp, a list goes up of all the survivors that they've met throughout different DP camps. And the mail comes, and every day all the survivors run to see if they can be reunited with any of their family members. But every day hopes go down as they don't see any of their family members. I learned quickly that I'm the only young person here to have not lost a parent or a sibling in the war. And I now know how lucky I am to have been in Albania during the war. We waited 7 years for this. My mom and I, we got invited back to the consulate to get visas to the United States. But we still have the same quota issue. My dad, he still can't get a visa. But now it's different. There's no threat from the Nazis anymore. So we decided to leave my dad in Italy and get our visas because we know that if we go, it'll be easier for him to get visa, knowing that his daughter and his wife are in the US. My mom and I, we run up to the top deck. We see skyscrapers and lights. It's incredible. Our Liberty boat, it's pulling up to New York City. Is that our friends and family? Is that our mama? It's September 1946. We made it. We made it to the United States. We're back at the port. There's Dad. His boat made it. We waited 8 months for this. We're now a full family, reunited for the rest of our lives in the States. My grandmother, she ends her speech in the crowded auditorium of the United States Holocaust Museum the same way that she does every time. Our Talmud says that he who saves a life is as if he saved an entire world. Hitler tried to kill me, and I narrowly missed being caught by the Nazis many times, but now I have 4 kids, 14 grandkids, and 33 great-grandkids. This is all due to Bessa, the Promise, and the Muslims in Albania who saved us.